This time. Psh. You said right post.
Yeah. I totally got it.
That's very little delay. That's weird.
Okay, all done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just doing a Twitter post and then I'll be good.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I should. Matt was wondering when we were going to be live. I should say something to him.
I am so yawny.
Current mood.
Hey,
Yanni.
Eric's in the chat. How's it going?
Oh, I can't see this.
Are you Yanni when you listen to Yanni?
Oh.
That was so bad, Colin.
That was like Chris level.
No.
No, wasn't that good?
No.
What's the Mob Crush thing? Mobcrush.com/boards and swords or something?
Yeah. Mobcrush.com/boards-and-swords/chat.
Thanks. I just want to see it.
No, that makes sense. Totally.
Toads.
Totes my goats.
Okay, so I can see it. I just won't be able to type because I don't think I have.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it gives me a typing window, but it doesn't actually let me send anything I type in there.
Gotcha.
Oh no, it did. It typed.
You might have had to log in or
I
something.
had to hit return instead of done.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm all ready if other people are.
Yep.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
See, check this out. Whoop. Oh, look. Whoop. None of y'all can see
What?
it, probably, unless you're looking at the stream, which you shouldn't be because that takes bandwidth, although it's a separate kind of bandwidth because that's your downstream.
Yeah, well, we got our
Unless we
phones
all are
on.
just using our data.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just using data. We got the 15 extra gigs to use.
Mm.
So.
Forgot about that.
Okay. Everybody on here ready to start?
Yep.
You know, for a second, I forgot that computer is still behind me. I was like, man, that came through really clear.
Sorry, I'm good.
All right. Then I'm going to start. Okay, Colin? You good?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm good.
All right. Starting the show in 3, 2, 1. This episode is brought to you thanks to all our patrons who, just like Jessica, who just spawn. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm going to start this over. Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay. The following program is brought to you thanks to our patrons who have gone to patreon.com/boardsandswords. Coming at you live from Swordplay Studios and all around the world, even though they're just down the road a little bit. It's time for Boards and Swords!
Woohoo!
All by myself. This is weird.
Physically.
What was that?
Physically.
Yeah, physical isolation, not social isolation here. Because this is Boards and Swords. It's time to get some podcasting in and talk about some board games because this is a board game podcast where we have fun talking about board games. I am one of your hosts. My name is Chris Renshaw, and I'm going to toss the digital ball in the air and send it to Philip.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Philip.
I am Colin.
I am Cindy.
Philip sounds like he's coming in through a can and string, but
Hey, man, I'm coming through the setup you gave me.
hey. Yeah, there we go. Hey, I gave you everything. It's not my fault that like it's like when you do your internet provider and they're like, "We can help you up until this point, but after that, it's on you."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I can get you to have you try turning it off and on again, and then beyond that is it's on you, man.
so yeah, this episode is probably it's if you could staple together an MP3, that's probably what it would be. You know, like
It's
take
like Jello on the wall.
yeah, Jello on the wall.
Yeah, you try to nail Jello to the wall.
Oh,
That's a saying.
really? That's a
I've
saying?
never heard that.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
I think you're making that up.
I'm not the
Me.
weird one here. I'm not the weird one.
No, you
Well,
are.
For the record, yes, you are.
Well, I'm trying
No.
not to be.
Known you way too long for that to be true.
You know, we just watched a MythBusters episode where they do like talk about the impossible sayings like herding cats and
yeah.
what was another one?
Apparently, it is a common idiom.
You're an
nailing
idiom.
Jello to a wall.
I
Okay.
ain't no oxymoron.
Any- Anyways, yeah, this is we've got a little remote get up stuff we're having to do here because like all of y'all, we're practicing good
Staying at
isolation.
home.
Yeah.
We're practicing so safe social, physical distancing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah, all
something
those
that
words.
the CDC recommended
Not saying
physical distancing, not social distancing. And we got new people in the chat room. Hi, Robert. Glad you could
Hi.
join us. We're going to be talking about jumping right in. We'll get into our main topic here in a bit, but I don't have news jokes for you like I normally would because I was looking at the news and it's all kind of sucky. So it would
Makes
I could
sense,
I
yeah.
could tell jokes of just but it would be mostly disappointing and depressing news. So feel free to send me good things and like good stories that you have, and maybe we'll feature some of that next time. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I got my mother to download Tabletop Simulator and we played so and so game on it.
I got my tax return. I bought a game.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
So
That's not a true story, by the way.
oh
He's
man,
just
so
paying
should our
for other
next
people.
should our next episode be how to spend your stimulus money? Like,
Yeah.
if you have
1,200,
1,200
then we should have all gotten it. Hopefully,
be like, well, it'd be like if you've got a budget of $1,200, what's the best bang for your budget?
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about that later in the episode, right?
in a way, sure.
Somewhat.
In my
Yeah.
opinion.
Robert says miniatures. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
2. If you're talking about Games Workshop, you get 2.
Warhammer 40K.
And Zach's in the chat room. See, this is what happens. I managed to do some advertising, get the show. We got some new people, and even people that are old fans.
They're the ones that need the distancing.
Old people.
The old
older
fans, yeah.
older fans that also are able to watch because everybody's at home. That's why I was like, they were like, why should we do this live? Because everybody's at home and people need content.
Sure.
So, we'll just banter here for a second. As one might expect, I'm going to keep my trend of I haven't been playing a lot of games. But I did figure out, so I have not. Like,
Yeah, that's the trend. Yeah.
that's the trend.
That's what he's known for.
Yep. I did manage to. I'd had Tabletop Simulator forever, but I'd never really like used it. I picked it up on a sale and just But I finally sat down and messed with it and figured out how to use Arkham Horror on it because we've been really wanting to continue our Arkham Horror, our weekly Arkham Horror game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was playing on that is just wild, especially when you've got like a game that involves a lot of cards like Arkham Horror does. Like I saw pictures of people playing Root on Tabletop Simulator, and I imagine that being a lot easier because it's just like I pick this piece up, I move it here.
Huh.
But
Yeah, we just got Tabletop Simulator this past week, and
We haven't used it yet.
yeah,
yeah,
I learned all the whole like how you pick up a card, how you shuffle a deck of cards,
Yeah.
and all that.
how you flip the table.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
cool
that's an
watching
important
that.
button.
But you know what? You actually get an achievement if you if you use Tabletop Simulator for an hour and don't flip the table.
Nice.
Really? That's fun.
Well, that was fantastic. There we
Did
go.
we lose something?
Nah, I tapped a button and everything went wonky.
Well, don't tap that.
Is that the
button
flip the
then.
table button?
No, on the convoluted setup that we have going on here.
Mm.
Anyways,
I like picture that scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like Charlie got in the wires going or the strings going everywhere. That's what I'm
Yeah.
picturing the studio looks like right now.
I almost feel like I should take these microphones down because they're just going to be kind of like.
Oh, the ones that we normally use.
Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to get cardboard cutouts. We've talked about doing this for Philip, but I just need
I
to have.
one at work.
I just need to get cutouts of
Of
everybody.
me?
No, he has one of himself.
Yeah, it
Philip.
was made for some like sort of pin the tail on the donkey type game for Valentine's Day like 2 years ago.
Still, a
at
Philip?
work. No,
No,
it's a
Colin.
Colin. It's a cardboard Colin. And they traced me onto the cardboard, cut it out, and they pasted a picture of my face on the top, and they put like boxers on the thing. It was like pin the heart on the Colin. Is what it was. And I felt bad throwing it. They gave it to me and said, "Here, this is yours." I don't feel right throwing this away, but I don't know what to do with this, so it just sits in my cube staring at me.
Oh, see, I would be like, I'd be using that all the time. Like, you just slowly sneak it in, like next to someone's cube, peeking over or something.
You know, that was like the first month after Valentine's Day that year. That's what happened. It would like show up and like someone was on a travel day or something like
Yeah.
that, and it would be in their cube when they got back.
That's hilarious. I did not know any of this. Like, I mean, I knew about the cutout. I just didn't know about the crazy antics and that it
That-
still is in his cube.
That I lived
Right.
with it.
That's hilarious.
That's
Oh.
my work
Like-
buddy.
Put a shirt and some pants on it and have it sit in your chair.
I'm suddenly
In the
reminded of that Big
bathroom.
Bang Theory episode where Sheldon was on the pole, the monitor with like a T-shirt.
The remote person device.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. There's comments in the chat talking about curious how I'm doing Arkham Horror, the card game, on Tabletop Simulator, wanting to see it. So I may have to do like a stream or a video just showing it off. But there's some really neat stuff on there. But anyways, other than that, I did manage to. I escaped isolation before things got really bad. I got free for one day and managed to go to our friend Corey and Jimmy's house and finish up our game of Charterstone.
Oh,
Nice, yeah.
Because I needed
Yeah,
like
we just got that.
yeah, I needed the social, the network, or I needed the social interaction, and then other than that, I managed to teach Ashley something, but I don't remember. Oh, Ash and I have been playing the Minecraft Builders and Biomes game
Oh, cool.
because
Oh,
she
yeah,
loves.
I saw you post a picture of that.
Yeah, she loves Minecraft. So like right before everything went on lockdown, I saw that at Target and I was like, yoink.
Nice. We actually finished Clank Legacy last night.
That's what I heard.
It was
Yeah.
so good, guys. Oh my gosh.
Probably my favorite legacy game.
Oh yeah, mine for sure.
That's also the
was-
general sentiment I've been hearing.
Yeah, it was really good. And we you know how I'm a curious person. And so after we were done, I went and we kind of looked through the stuff that we didn't encounter. And there was a few things I think that we failed to get because we didn't do something, you know? And I was like, oh man, that would have been cool. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. It was still an awesome experience though. Like, and neither of us died ever. Well, we neither of us had 0 points. I'll say that.
Right.
yeah.
There was a couple times that we were knocked out, but we were above the depths. But yeah, we never had a 0 point score. It was kind of interesting. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. It's good. 'Cause
Yeah.
apparently bad things happen if somebody scores 0 points.
Yeah, that's like the best part of any legacy game or campaign game is you go back and read all the options that you didn't do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's
There
like
was a
step
couple-
one.
So there was one puzzle in there in particular. It was a riddle that I figured it out, and I'm so proud of myself because normally I'm not very good at riddles, but oh my gosh, I was like, it's gotta be this. And so I went to a certain location and looked something up in the book that, your storybook basically, and it was right. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it. I was so excited.
I said something similar.
In
Oh
that
my
same pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. And I think what made it so neat was it was so snarky. There was so much just like ridiculousness in there.
There's
And-
a lot of snark to the storytelling.
Yes. And then Colin is ridiculously goofy. And so he's like, every time he's reading, he's like making fun accents and talking as if he's the people talking. And so then I joined in and was doing that. So we had a lot of fun with it. Ooh, do Malithrax.
And then
yes, you little tiny thing.
It's this big old dragon, and he's, it's so funny.
Yeah.
oh
That's
man.
not a spoiler because
I mean, it's
there's a
Clank.
dragon.
There's
in
a dragon.
Clank.
Yeah. The base
Just has
game
a
as a
name in
game.
this version. He's
So-
Malithrax.
Oh man, just to refresh for some people we've got in the chat room. So I'm Chris up here in the corner. And then Colin and Cindy are over, and then Philip as well, but I'll let them
Yeah, you
introduce
got
themselves.
Colin. I'm Colin.
I'm Cindy.
There you go.
I'm Felipe.
Felipe.
So got people. It's up here in the corner, but you don't know whose voice to if you missed the intro where we said it, you don't know whose voice to associate with who.
I'm the woman.
Well, yeah, that's easy. But then
I'm
it's like
easy to know.
the one I will say, there's one piece of good news, I guess, and that is Frosthaven launched on Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah, I
And
did
You
see
mean
that.
Oh,
Frosthaven
yeah.
funded on Kickstarter?
well, that happened within 13 minutes. So I had to double check just to see if the numbers were still accurate. It launched yesterday, as of when we're recording this. If you're hearing the podcast version of this, as of right now, it is out of a pledged. Its funding goal was 500,000. It's now at 5.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money.
That is
That's-
a lot of
that's a
money.
lot.
How
That's
long is the
1,000.
campaign?
That's,
30 days. So there's still 29
30
days to
days?
go.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh
People are
my
already
gosh.
spending their stimulus checks.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I imagine that as we get to the end, that's where you see a spike is like right now, everybody that's backed right now probably are like all the Gloomhaven fans, like the initial like everyone that's
People who knew this was coming and they knew
people
they
that
were
knew
gonna
this
fund.
was coming. Right. So I imagine, especially as we get more sure of those checks, and then once they actually start hitting bank accounts, someone's like, okay, I can throw down $100 for Frosthaven.
Yep.
So I would, so it'd have to pass like $12 million, I think, to be the highest board game Kickstarter. But I think it's possible.
is that what Exploding Kittens got?
No, that was actually the Kingdom Death Monster 1.5.
Oh, right.
Exploding Kittens was like 8 million.
So that held it for a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that's enough. We got a lot of content to talk about here, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Just a little bit. And that is, we have our top 10 games of all time. This is our 2020 version. We went and redid our list. I definitely, talking about how I made the list, I definitely did a whole lot more editing of the games before they went into the list.
I did too.
Like I make sure and rate everything on BGG because then you can filter stuff out through the
I
tools.
need to do that.
And so anything below a 6 gone. So
Mine was mine I just pulled in my whole collection to rank,
mhm.
and then anything I'd not played or I'd only played once or didn't have an opinion on, I
Right.
took out.
Exactly. Which is why I actually, when I did my quote unquote top 50, it only ended up being 48. But
Nice.
I'm actually
So-
last year I said that I felt I was more I was happier with the list, that there wasn't so much like filler spots. I'm even more so now. I'm just starting to finally curate that list.
Ah, okay.
So Colin, what about you?
Me, I did something similar to Cindy, but like there
He
may be
went
some stuff
further.
in that was I have only played once and I just like thoroughly enjoyed it, but not in the top 10.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing in my top 10 has everything in my top 10 has been played multiple times.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And,
Philip, I think he took the tactic of I'm just going to use the same list as last year.
I took some stuff off and added some stuff to it.
Okay, so it's been
Oh.
modified.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna use an if it ain't broke joke.
So my list may be kind of weird, especially some games, may not be on the list that you might expect. But once
Is
I
this
go,
like your games to play with family, like so your favorite games aren't actually your favorite games.
no, this is my favorite games. But I'm saying that once
Within your top
once you
10.
hear the entire list, knowing how I am, everything will make sense.
Okay.
But anyways, I will start off with my number 10, which actually is not surprising. My number 10 was actually, the first time I did this was 23rd, and then it dropped to 11, and last year it was 12.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
this year it's 10, so it stayed pretty much around the same place, and that is Steampunk Rally from Roxley Games.
I still need to play this game.
So Phillips played this game. This is the game where you are,
Game.
huh?
It's a fun game.
He remembers it. That's even bit more. So Steampunk Rally, you're all a bunch of like inventor, like think post-Renaissance age kind of 1800s inventors, and you're making these crazy contraptions, and it's a drafting game but it's also just literal engine building, and that you're building an engine to race, but at the same time it's also engine building in the gaming sense of this is going to give me this kind of dice. These components are going to convert this dice to this kind of dice, and these kind of dice are what are going to actually get me to move forward. And so this is like the only real-time dice rolling game I like, because it doesn't matter how long you take doing it, because it's more of a, you just keep going until all your dice filter out of your system, basically.
Right. Okay.
So it's real time, but not real time.
Well, meaning it's real time, but it's and that everybody's doing it at the same time, but it's not like we're competing on the same dice.
It's not a race.
Well, that part isn't a race. You can only, because what
it's
happens,
a race, but it's not a race.
right? Well, in other words, you're trying to get to the end, and the whole game is a race, but that specific part isn't necessarily a race.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just busting on.
I
you.
know, but I'm also probably sounding really confusing, so trying to clarify. So that's it. Steampunk Rally. I probably should have pulled that up here, which I got this nice little screen thing here. I should,
You should,
I should. And it's also great
Well.
because they added in Doc Brown in the DeLorean as a character.
I remember I was there when you got that.
Yeah.
Well, you walked away from me to get it, so
Yeah.
I was in the area.
Didn't they have? I mean, because it was like legally distinct Doc Brown, right?
Yeah, it was like Braun, but it was like
Yeah,
Doc
and then
Von
they had-
Braun.
Yeah, and then weren't there a couple other pop culture legally distinct characters?
I don't know. It's possible this game's been out since 2015, so it's possible they did some other promos.
Okay.
But anyways, Philip, let's go to you.
So let's see. My number 10. It's based on the IP and just not having played it a lot. Is Battlestar Galactica, the board game,
Mm.
Okay.
because I'm all about that BSG life.
Yep.
If you listen to the show, you know that.
You can set your clock by it, except it's not a half hour. It's set every 33 minutes.
Every 33 minutes. So say we all.
All right. Awesome. Awesome.
That was
Well,
Yep, that's all I got.
cool. Yeah. My number 10, I said it was probably going to be a top 10 game, and it made it in there. It's a game we reviewed, actually. It's
Oh.
Shobu.
Yeah.
I
That's a good game.
I don't know how to explain it. I can explain the game, but I don't. My love for the game, I can't explain it. It's,
Is it? So that's probably your favorite abstract then.
yeah, my love is quite abstract for this game.
haha.
I
Man,
did
that's
it.
impressive. That made it into your top 10.
Yeah, like I
Wow.
get in the zone every once in a while, and with this game, and I see all four boards. Like there's four boards that you're manipulating at one time, and usually I forget about one, and that's how you lose the game, is you lose sight of one of the boards. But I think the last time we played, we were at Olive Garden, and I said,
Oh yeah.
I was like, I saw the Matrix, that kind of thing. It was like, I see the boards.
Yeah.
It's a good moment when that happens.
It is a very good game. I really enjoy it. All right. So my number 10 is Chris's favorite game to rag us on. and that's
Suburbia.
Suburbia. I like that you knew that immediately. Yeah. So for the if you don't know, Suburbia is kind of a city building game, but you're buying tiles and you're adding them into your little suburb, and the different tiles that you buy can interact with other tiles around it based on the type of tile it is, and ultimately you're trying to have the most population, and but there's this nice balance of trying to make your income and your reputation high enough, because when you're increasing your population at certain points, your income and reputation markers will move down, and so you're constantly trying to balance everything so that way you're not like lacking in your income or reputation, because those are
Money's important.
Money is important because obviously, like I said, you're buying tiles. So it's just this very good crunchy game, and I think what makes it even better for us anyway is that we have a playlist now with our Amazon Music account that we curated specifically for playing with Suburbia or these other Sim Cities or the Sims style games, and it's basically that kind of music, and it's so much fun.
It's specifically music from The Sims, like all the different versions and the different versions of SimCity.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, then did we get? So that's back to me, right? Just me.
Yeah.
Sorry, troubleshooting stuff on the fly here. And so my number 9, we're down to number 9. This is the first CMON game on the list, and that is another game that Phillips played, Bloodborne, the card game.
Oh.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
Me either.
It's a game that I don't play much, but I love playing it. And the problem is that nobody really wants to play it. But I love playing it because, as I've said to people, this is like the people that like the Take That and Munchkin. This is like a better version of playing that. Like the people that come into gaming and they're like, oh, I like the way that you could take that in Munchkin. And it's like, okay, but take that. Let's put it on a good game. And it's all. So it's a game that I love playing, but I don't get to play it because it doesn't get played because there's really not a lot of people that like playing it. But
gotcha.
you know, it's been on my list. The first time it was 16, and then last year it was 23. So it floats around. This is definitely the highest. So that's my number 9 is Bloodborne. Oh, I guess I didn't really describe the game itself. It's based on a video game, but in this you're playing cards and trying to defeat monsters, but you're trying to defeat the monsters before your opponents do. So it's a matter of when do you let them take the damage to wound it. You just want to be the last one to kill it. So there you go.
Yeah, that sounds similar to Cutthroat Caverns, actually.
Have not played Cutthroat Caverns, but I've definitely heard things. You guys,
Is this 2 or 3 minimum for Bloodborne?
3 minimum.
Okay, yeah. So is Cutthroat Caverns.
Okay,
I'm curious, like what kind of similarities you might draw between the two.
right. Well, I've not played it, but you have it, right?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay.
We haven't had the opportunity to play it because
It's 3
social
or more.
distancing or
Yeah.
whatever whatever the term is.
Yeah.
We don't
Stay
have
away from
enough
each other.
peeps.
We need a third person, and there's only 2 of us because we can't teach Shelly how to play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Shelly is the dog, for those who don't know.
All right,
Cindy, that
Philip.
sounds like a quitter's attitude.
Hey, she is a smart dog.
Hey, my
but
cat plays
she
ice
has
cool.
no thumbs. She has no thumbs.
My cat plays ice cool, so.
Well, you don't need thumbs for that.
It just
Okay,
it just
so
cheats like
mine-
Phil or like Colin does and just swats it.
It does.
Oh yeah.
So my number 9 is it's towards the bottom just because it hasn't been put out on a table ever since I bought it. It's Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles.
Oh my gosh. Nice.
So this is more so just the eye candy appeal.
The
This is-
components.
Well, I mean, I played the demo at PAX Unplugged, and I played X-Wing, and I really enjoyed X-Wing, having the ships and moving them around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see,
So
that's the
this
thing
is
is this is basically the same mechanic, so it's like he has played the game,
Yeah,
even if he's only
um,
done the demo.
One of the, I mean, they added a whole bunch of, so in X-Wing, you're all basically, just like pretty much every single space battle you ever see on TV, you're all playing at the same height. You're all oriented correctly to each other. Well, in Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles, you can, there are four basically layers to the map, and you just designate which layer your ship is on the player board. You have to be within a layer of each other to attack. You can, something that I thought was very interesting in the series, the ship would be moving in a general forward direction, but the ship itself would be turned 90 degrees clockwise. So it could look at something or shoot at something over toward its right, but it's still maintaining a direction of travel.
You mean inertia actually matters?
Yeah, inertia
That's
actually
pretty
matters in this game.
Pretty similar to the physics on the show.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that they added a whole bunch of those aspects into the game. But it's number 9 because like I demoed it
Yeah.
and then I bought all of it.
Well,
and
you have
rode
the
it.
same. I think you have the same problem where it's just you will really want to play it, but it's just finding someone to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who can I get to put it out on the table with? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we're
That's
hearing from
hard.
the chat room that Bloodborne is very similar to Cutthroat Caverns,
Ah.
although it's less fiddly.
Interesting.
Well, I guess you picked a good one then.
Aha!
All right.
I don't know which. I'm letting y'all decide between you two which one goes first.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep the same order we've been in.
I couldn't remember if I went first or not. So my number 9 is some might call it ugly. I would say it's beautiful in its own way, and that is Concordia.
Oh yeah, that is
Oh.
ugly or ugly.
Yeah, there you go. Concordia. It just clicks with me. It's you're building up your hand of cards, and choosing what order to play them, when you want to take them back into your hand, and when exactly do you want to trigger the end of the game. And I know, Chris, you're just gonna say right away as soon as you pull it out of the box.
I
Right?
mean,
I take the words right out of your mouth.
I'm
right?
not going to say anything just because I know nothing about the game, but it's also, I'm not going to ever want to play the game just because it makes me want to puke.
Oh my!
I got
God.
excited
It's
for
not
a
that
split.
bad.
I got excited for a split second when I heard about Concordia Venus because I thought it was going to be a space theme,
Oh,
and
no,
then I was
no.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's just one of those games that clicks with me. I'm excited to play it all the time. And the Salsa expansion really kicks it to the next level. It takes it up to 11. You can get these special tiles that you can build up an engine with and get
Mhm.
all these special abilities. And yeah, it's just a
Again,
fun
was
time.
really excited until I realized it had nothing to do with food.
Hey, it's good.
Yeah, salsa
So yeah,
is good.
Concordia, number 9.
You
So
got
my
you got
number
people.
9.
Everybody's agreeing with you. You got Concordia is great. People are liking X-wing. We're on a roll.
Nice.
Don't
nice.
mess it up, Cindy.
Sorry. So my number 9 is, this was a big surprise to me a couple years ago, but that I like this so much. But it's Montana. So this game, it's basically a race to lay down your little settlement tiles. But in order to lay the settlement tiles down, you have to collect resources on this board. But in order to get resources, you have to have people. In order to get people, you have to spin a little
Spinner.
dial spinner thing. And I'm like, why? What? How could I enjoy a game that has a spinner? That's like life, but the game of life. But it is so cool because you just spin the little spinner and then you get your little meeples and they tell you where,
What they're good at.
what resources they're good at acquiring. And you can use them other places, but it just, they're more effective in the spots that they are best at, of course. Like if you're a farmer, hey, you're good at getting pumpkins and that's good for you. You're more effective. I don't know. It's just this really good game, and it's when Colin and I play, we can get it done in like 30 minutes because, like I said, it's just a race, and we're fairly quick at our turns, and you just get your resources, and they have the cutest little pumpkin.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Yep, waiting for that.
It's the resources in that game are all very. Did we get a deluxe edition? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
why?
the Heritage Edition.
Heritage
Yeah, I was
Edition.
gonna
has
ask.
like it's
Yeah,
the
so-
it's got like all the
And it's got your
hashings on it.
famous
So-
artists.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it does. Clemens Franz and the going to the market and upgrading resources because you can upgrade like your clay and ore or stone. Is it stone? I don't know. Whatever it is, and you can upgrade them to be like bigger things, and because sometimes you need it. And there's cows. The cows act as basically wild tokens. You can use them, trade them in for various different things, and it's just so good. I really like Montana a lot. Never been to the state, but the board game's great.
Nice little rhyme at the end.
Ha ha! All right, going to number 8. My number 8 is my first FFG, and it won't be the last.
Of
I
course.
figure that, yeah.
And that is Keyforge.
Doo-doo-doo.
Doo-doo-doo. It's fallen a little bit. It was at number 4 last year, but that's mainly because I found that I'm not playing as many competitive games. I am playing a lot more cooperative. I'm having a lot more fun doing cooperative games. And even when I'm playing competitive games, I'm not being as cutthroaty, which is going to
I
sound
didn't
really...
realize you could do co-op.
Huh? No, I'm talking about in general. Not talking Keyforge.
Oh.
I'm talking in
Okay.
general. That's why this game isn't higher, because I'm not really playing very competitive games a whole lot.
Gotcha.
And even when
I was like, I haven't heard about this
No.
aspect of Keyforge.
No.
Tell me more.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if they add something in. I mean, it wouldn't really be that hard. More like a team mode. But it's a
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
It's a 1v1 card game where every deck is completely unique, and it's it's just like all those other games where you're just trying to defeat the other person. But I love it. And the fact of the matter where I don't have to keep up with the game per se, I can not play it, and then all I got to do if I want to play it again is just go buy a deck. I don't have to like what cards are good this time, what cards are bad, and like
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have to keep track of that. Like with Magic, it doesn't take like a re-entry curve. I just go buy a deck and play. Oh, what's that new keyword? And that's right. There is a Keyforge RPG coming soon, a source book coming soon, so that'll be fun. And there's a set of short stories coming out that I have to read because I
Oh.
have a review copy to read, and I have plenty of time. I just need to get that
That's
read.
cool.
So there we go. That was my number 8.
All right, so my number 8. Chris, you and I have played this a bunch. It's Arcadia Quest.
Aha! I think that's where you had it last
Yay.
year.
Yes, it stayed there. It's a very fun game. Still haven't played the Poison and the Fire. Are
Inferno
those the Inferno? Yeah, that one.
and the dragons.
Oh.
I have the poison dragon and like the fire and frost dragons. That might be what you were thinking of.
That's yeah. Because there's Arcadia Quest, the Pets expansion. That was kind of fun, and Riders, because you could include those in any of them.
Right.
But like Inferno was its own standalone game, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or isn't it? Yeah. So I haven't played that. But I mean, Arcadia Quest is fun. You can play kind of co-op-ish. You can play, hey, forget you, I'm gonna do it all on my own.
I'm not saying a whole lot because we may be coming back to this.
We may be coming back. Yeah.
I just want to point out you could say like Arcadia Quest because it's in spot 8.
Ah,
Oh my gosh.
Womp
That was
womp
bad.
womp.
you're stretching there.
Mm.
Yeah, it was my number 9 last year.
Got him!
That was Cindy's doing.
I was trying to find the other one, but my finger didn't hit the right thing.
It works.
All right, Cindy or Colin, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's me. So number 8 for me. It's a card game, and we just talked about the artist. It's
Oh my gosh, mine's the same.
Port Royal.
Mine's the same. This is my number 8 too. Oh my gosh, Colin, I love you.
We've been playing it a lot lately, trying to get through the the campaign, the co-op campaign expansion, and we suck at it.
It's the adventure continues.
Adventure begins, yeah. And so it's a push your luck game. It's I think it's my favorite push your luck game. You're flipping cards off the top of the deck, and kind of you're hiring people. And some of them have abilities, some of them have just little symbols that work toward missions that'll come out, and so you get points. The competitive game works to where you're trying to get a certain amount of points. I think it's 12 points, and then
Each
you play
person
out the
is.
rest of the round.
Yeah.
And the co-op, you're trying to achieve certain goals, and it's a lot of fun co-op because in the
Yeah.
game, if you buy something on someone else's turn, you pay them a coin. That still happens in the co-op, but you're not feeling bad about giving them a coin. You're like, oh, I give you a coin so that
Which means
maybe
like
you
you
can
can do
get
something.
something.
Mhm. It's so good. And I mean, the basic game is great too. Just the, push your luck aspect, trying to get to 15 points and
Or 12
oh,
or
12.
20. 20 is what we're shooting for in our 2-player co-op games.
I'm talking about the base game.
Yeah, I said 12 originally.
Oh, okay. It's oh, sorry. But anyway, yes, Port Royal is fantastic. I love it. It's definitely my favorite push your luck game. And I like the artwork with Clemens Franz. I think it's great. And like Colin said, it's just this awesome, like, do I keep flipping cards, or oh my gosh, I have 3 ships out here. What if I get another red ship and I'll bust, but I really want to find that, that pirate, so I'm going to keep flipping. Oh no, I got my second red and I can't fight it off. It's so great. I love it.
That was actual footage from a game.
It happens a lot. I took a picture. We had 36 cards out in our tableau thing during one of our games recently because we were and we didn't bust. It was like we had I don't know. I feel like we had maybe 5 ships out, 5 different colored ships out at the time or something. I have the I could look up the picture, but it was 36 cards. Like this is insane.
I don't remember that many, but apparently I just can't remember.
It was insane how many cards we had.
All right.
But yeah, Port Royal, good game.
I guess we covered both. It was a 2-for-1er there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So moving to number 7, this might be the first on the list, and that is you might be saying to yourself, Chris, there's no way you're going to put 2 FFG games back to back on a list. And this is
Who
where
says that?
you'd be wrong. And then that's because number 7 is actually going to be Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition.
Oh.
Oh,
No, this
I
was
thought this would be a little higher.
This was number 2 last year, but here's the problem. The problem is this game's gotten to be kind of intimidating to put to the table because it's so much stuff and it's so like it's a great game, but it's also very involved. There's a lot of components. There's also each scenario, like once you get past some of the intro ones, they can be like 3 hours. So
yeah,
Yeah.
it
that's a
gets to
lot.
the point where it's just like, I love it, but it's hard to get to the table because it's also kind of a behemoth.
I forget. Do you have an insert for this?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's also a bunch of minis just thrown in a box.
Yeah.
There's stuff. There are inserts, but I just don't. I haven't seen a lot of good ones. It's one of those where it's like, oh, this one lifts the lid. No, screw you. I'm not having any of these box lifting
Oh,
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Like, it's bad enough with the Fantasy Flight organizers for the card games.
Yeah. And no, it's not been replaced by Journeys in Middle Earth because I much prefer the Cthulhu theme. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings person.
Yeah,
I'm not either,
Yeah,
but
we're not
that
either.
game was amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool with the deck of cards versus the rolling dice
Hey,
for the successes.
but let's think about this for a second. Between rolling dice and cards,
Yes, you're a dice person.
yeah, we know you. We know you. Yeah.
so there you go. You know, it's a classic storytelling game. I love it. So that's my number 7, Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition.
All right, number 7. Number 7 is a game that you could probably call it like your gateway board game. It's real great. It's a game that a lot of people are going to start out playing, and then oh yeah, there's actually better games, so we're going to switch to that now. But it's always going to stay in my top 10. Munchkin.
Called it.
Uh-huh.
I already had
I'm
it
not
shown.
surprised.
Everybody had already seen it on screen as I had already pulled up Munchkin. As soon as you said,
I'm surprised it's not number 1.
as soon as you said Gateway game, I was like, oh, here's the Munchkin spot.
Yeah, I knew it too, Chris.
I
as
was
soon
like,
as you said
wait,
it.
it's too soon for Munchkin. What is he talking about?
No, this is around
no,
where he had it last year.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
exactly where it was last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, that's it,
Fun
right?
game. It's just a super fun game.
Anna Maria came in literally to say Journeys of Middle Earth is the best and cards are better than the dice. You know what? I can't say that you're wrong. I mean, you're probably wrong, but I can't say it fully because I haven't played Journeys in Middle Earth.
I mean, there's no
In your opinion, she's wrong.
there's no dice in Arkham Horror the card game.
I know that's
mean,
where it's like I got to be careful with what I say.
So my number 7 is, I'm just going to come out and say it. I love theme parks. The idea of making theme parks, Roller Coaster Tycoon, was a favorite video game of mine growing up. The first one, and my number 7 is Unfair.
Haha! This is my own favorite game of me. Like, can I pull it up before they actually say the title?
I thought I'd give you a little intro to give you a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's building up a theme park, and you're trying to amass points through different things like you're building up your attractions that you have. You're getting a bunch of money. You can hurt the other players, but I think it's really just a play style thing because Cindy and I hardly ever attack each other.
No, only if we have to for some reason.
I will say I remember us doing our 4-player game, and I probably wouldn't play this with more than 3 players, just because the cards get diluted a lot and it takes a lot
Mhm.
longer.
Right.
Well, you have more cards in a 4-player game, but I guess you're right. They do get diluted.
So
So would
if
you
you're
say
looking
you
for a
play
particular
unfair pretty fairly?
Yes.
Yeah, we're pretty fair with unfair. Yeah. And yeah, you're trying to get an engine going, and it kind of boosts you in the first 4 rounds, and then it starts whacking at you in the
game
last
itself,
4
yeah.
rounds. And it's a fun time. They're trying to prepare to deal with things that might happen to you in the
Mhm.
game.
Yeah,
I'm
there's,
s-
there's definitely ways to mitigate your bad stuff that could happen, but
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't have the news, so I have to let this out whenever I can. So would you say that our 4-player game was an unfair treatment of it?
yes. Well, it was also the first time any of us had played it. So, now Colin and I, we know what all the cards mean. Well, except for some of the
We still haven't
expansions.
played all the expansion decks yet.
All right, that's a
but
fair comment.
for the for the base game decks, we definitely know what all the cards do, and so we don't have to take the time like we did in our first play of it, to read everything and like what does this do and oh how does this interact, and so they're much quicker games for sure than that first game.
So yeah, number 7, unfair.
So my number 7 is it's a new game this past year.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I feel kind of cliche saying this because it seems to be everybody's, a favorite game for a
Oh,
lot of people,
I know what it is.
but it's Wingspan. And I just I love the theme. I love birds. Like before Maryland had its, stay at home order on Monday evening, I went out and got bird food because well, I ordered it online and they brought it out to my car, so I didn't have to touch a thing. But I just love being home right now and being able to see my birds at my feeders. And so having a game where I'm, collecting birds, and I like the little bit of engine building that you get by adding the different cards into the rows, and I really like the I just really like the powers on the birds, and just trying to figure out like how best to score for the goals that you get. And it's just this great. I just love it. It's great. I like the way it works. And it's beautiful. It is such a beautiful game. And it's so educational. Like one of my favorite things is that each of the cards for the birds has some sort of fun fact about the birds, that type of bird on it. And we did end up buying the European expansion not long after it came out because
I got it for you for Christmas.
oh, that's what it was. It was a Christmas gift. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I forgot. But it was and that even adds a lot of great stuff to it because instead of just having like what that does like in between round
Yeah, you have end of round.
powers. Yeah. And it just adds, different types of birds, more variety, and it's just such a great game. And like I said, I feel cliche because everybody seems to like Wingspan, but I really like it a lot.
And I'm finally going to get to play it soon.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Okay, back to me. Now you might be saying, Chris, there's no way you're going to put 3 FFG games back to back. And you'd be wrong.
back.
I'd be surprised if you didn't put 8 of them back to back.
And that is number 8 is Twilight Imperium 4th edition.
Oh.
Wait, number 8 or number 7?
What did I
Number
say?
6.
6. Sorry, it's an
It should be
8.7
number
on here.
6.
6. Number 6, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. This is another one of those games. Don't get to play it that much, but every time you play it, there's always a story from it. There's it's your 4X game or your 4X game where you're trying to like expand and exploit and all those other X's. But for me, the fun is, how I was saying I'm starting to be a lot nicer in my in some of the plays, especially like when I'm here playing with Ashley. This is the complete opposite of that. This is where I can be manipulating and I can be, I don't even care necessarily if I win. I just want to cause chaos. And this is the perfect way of expressing that. So it's not for everybody, obviously, but it's definitely an experience, and that's why it's moved up on the list. In fact, I'll wait till after the list to say that another piece. But yeah, number 6 is TI4.
All right, my number 6 is a game we only played once. We played it at the inaugural Dirtbags Invitational, Space Cadets Dice Duel. It's got it's super fast paced. It's got the dice that Chris loves, and
the dice rolling that Chris hates.
Yeah.
The real time dice rolling.
Yeah, real-time dice rolling that Chris hates, but it's super fast-paced, and it was just I had a blast playing that game. That would be another game that if it was just sitting on a table, I would gather people to try and play it.
I'd be down to play it. I like real-time dice games.
I also think it'd be good to I'd play it again, but I'd want to play it with 4-on-4 instead of the 2-on-2 we did.
Is each person commanding more stuff if it's less players?
Yes.
So it's like Captain Sonar to that extent?
Yes. I have not played Captain Sonar, but yes, for the most part.
Okay.
Any other comments, Philip?
Nope, no comments.
Okay. And it's almost sounded like you dropped off there for a sec.
Yeah.
All right. And number 6 for me is Gold West.
Oh.
Was this the first Western appearance for
I was going to say,
yeah.
Who are you and what have you done with Colin?
Yeah,
Hey,
don't
we're
worry.
only at 6.
Don't worry. I'm going to make up for the rest of the list.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, 5 through 1 are also going to be.
Guys. I don't even know.
So yeah, Gold West, it's got a Mancala type thing. You're getting goods from the board like gold, silver, and copper, and wood and stone. You take them, put them on your player board, and they come out in like a Mancala fashion. And just you drop one thing off in each bin, and what spits out at the end of the track is what you get to use that turn. And so you're trying to balance between getting points right away and you just have to wait to use your stuff, or you get to use your stuff right away and maybe have to think more wisely about using it. And you might not be getting as many points right away. So it's a neat little game of balance, and it's got nice color scheme. It's even for a Western, it's got a nice color palette to it.
It does. It's beautiful.
And I was surprised it wasn't like a little higher on my list, but I'm happy with it just being in the top 10. It's good stuff.
It is a good game. I enjoy it. All right, so my number 6 is Dinosaur Island.
Oh, right.
I keep wanting to play this again, Colin. it's been a while since we played it. But I really enjoy it. Like, I was intimidated by this game when I was first learning it. Like, I kept putting off learning it because I was like, I don't know. It's such a big game and there's so much to it and everybody likes it. What if I don't? But, oh my gosh, it's so good. It is so good. Building up your dinosaur park. Like Colin was saying, it's that kind of theme of building up an amusement park, but this one's filled with dinosaurs. It's so cool. And balancing your security level with the amount of visitors you got and your excitement and all the
or not balancing your security level in Chris's case.
What? Did he get a lot of people?
He always talks about that.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's like, I don't care, eat them.
Yeah.
What was
Uh,
it?
I just Dinosaur Island.
Oh, sorry. I
All your people get eaten.
was interacting with the chat room. But yes, I do like. I've only played it once.
Yeah, and it's really cool being able to like purchase different attractions for your park, because I always think it's fun like seeing, okay, what can I add to my park to attract my visitors, and I'm like, ooh, the hot dog stand, but they're all cleverly named and stuff. It's so fun. It's a great game, and it can be not intense. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, like there's a lot to it for sure, but once you get into it and you have you can know what's going on, it's pretty simple. It's
kinda
straightforward.
it's kind of got like a power grid sort of thing, because there's a couple different phases where you use your money. So money is like a big part of what you're trying to focus on.
Yeah.
And in power grid, you're using money over a course of like 4 different things. And so it's yeah, different phases of the game you're trying to focus on at different points, but keep that in mind.
Yeah. But it's still like once you have a grasp of what is going on in the game, it's pretty straightforward. Like, okay, I need to get DNA, I need to get dinosaurs, I need to do this, and it's really good.
I didn't realize there was a short intro game, because that's definitely
Well,
not how I learned.
Yeah, there's the short, medium, and long game. It's depending on what goal cards you want to put out.
I think I ended up playing the long game, pretty sure at least, because it was definitely not
Maybe.
super short. Like I'm
Yeah, the
seeing in the
medium-
chat room.
The medium is what we do most of the time, but yeah, the short game.
The short
like,
game's too short for us.
Yeah, you get the feel of the game, but for us, we've
Yeah.
only done the short game once.
And I just wanted more. I was like,
But yeah.
I don't want this to be over yet.
It was when we taught the game, when we played it.
Mhm.
We taught it to 2 people.
All right, we're moving into the top half of the list. Although I feel like I need to speed it up a little bit, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and say it. Number 5, Cartographers, a role player tale.
Is
The-
that good, huh?
It's the first new game on the list. It's also the first, it's the first roll and write on here. It's the only roll and write on here. Well,
Oh,
flip and
okay.
fill, roll and write. But anyways, it is my favorite of that genre just because I love the artwork. I love the components. I have always been a fan of any game that's got the polyominoes in it. I've not played that many, but I'm also a fan of... So I haven't played like the heavier ones like Feast for Odin, but I've always been a fan of Tetris, and seeing a lot more games embrace that polyomino shape stuff has been a real thrill. And just the fact it's really it's a really elegant game. When I play roll and writes, it's the one that doesn't get played the most, which is you're starting to see as a trend on my list. But but that's also because it's a little bit more complex. It's one of those it's like when I talk about Scythe, that it's not that hard of a game, but I always have trouble explaining it to people. Same thing with Cartographers, but it's a little bit more justified in the sense you have all those 4 different goals, and so people are always like, "Wait, what?" So doing that, explaining that piece is always a little weird. But you can play Cartographers on Tabletopia, so I may have to get that in sometime soon.
Yeah, I played it solo, and even that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, but you played it by yourself in real.
Well, that is
the
how
real game.
solo games work.
Well, no, I meant like he played the physical game, not on
Correct.
Tabletopia.
All right, Philip.
So my number 5 is Doctor Who: Time of the Daleks.
Ooh.
Yes, that was when we played. Didn't we lose?
Yeah.
Okay, but still, I mean, even losing, it was a very fun game, and I'll be honest, I haven't looked into seeing if any of the expansions are out for it.
That was my next question.
Just to like add more of the doctors and companions into the game.
But then again, it's
Finish
like
the rule book.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's one of the reasons that like I'm gonna keep this up there, is because they're gonna, it's kind of like inevitable. They're gonna throw all the doctors in there,
Right.
and then they're gonna have all this stuff and just make it.
Well,
Yeah,
and as
it'll
long
be-
as the
it'll be-
show keeps going, you'll have more content.
Yeah, you'll keep having more. I mean, they reset the dude, so now he's got, what are we up to? He's still got 11 more respawns he can
Yeah.
do. Yeah, so there you go.
Well, they've. I can't say more. Potential spoilers.
Ooh.
Let's just say they did some stuff to where he may have a lot more than that.
Oh, infinite resets.
All right.
So that's number 5.
So, cool. My number 5 is a game I got Chris to try, and he compared it to Carcassonne. And have I given you enough information yet? Okay, so number 5 is Kingdom Builder. Kingdom Builder.
Which they did.
Compared to Carcassonne?
It gave me a similar vibe.
And actually, Steph said the same thing in her blog recently. It's not the same kind of game at all. It's just like probably I don't know. I wouldn't compare the two, but I'm just saying people do. It's more than just Chris too, so it's actually legit.
Haha. You might say I'm too legit.
Not to quit though. I don't know. It's people rag on this game about having a 1-card hand, and it's just luck of the draw, but it's really not. And I stress when I teach the game, I stress strategy like from the get-go. Like I don't necessarily tell people, okay, you want to do this, but I tell people your first turn is the most important thing you can do in this game. So take everything you can into mind when you place those first houses on the board.
Yeah,
because
it is important.
You have to place adjacent if you can. So if you get locked into a big area and you don't want to have all your houses next to each other, that'll mess you up. And there's all these little powers you can get throughout the game. So you're trying to figure out what power you want to use that'll be the most advantageous to what gold cards are out there. And I prefer this one over Dominion personally. Like I've played Dominion a few times and it's a good game. I appreciate what it does, but I think this is
You're
Mr.
talking about the Donald X Vaccarino.
Yeah, this is one of Vaccarino. This is my favorite game of his.
Yeah, it's a very good game. I like it a lot too. All right. Well, my number 5 is one I kind of alluded to earlier, and that is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, yes. Sir.
I mentioned it briefly when we were talking about our playlist for Suburbia, because this is another one that we'll put on that The Sims/SimCity soundtrack too, because it's just perfect. Because this one is like the gamer's version of the game of life, because you're basically going through your life. You start as a teenager and you're collecting cards, and there's different projects and items. You can, as you're going through your adult life, you can get a job, you can start a relationship, and so you're just collecting these cards, and it's really fun because the cards you take are, they could be whatever, but what I like to do is, I want to go horseback riding, so I'm going to take that project and I'm going to learn how to go horseback riding. And so you're kind of like building up this fantasy life, and it's a lot of fun, and it's worker placement. So you have, throughout the game, your little hourglasses act as your workers, and as you get older, your stress level gets higher and you lose your workers because you're less efficient because you're old. But but it's just such a great game. And
yeah, it's neat how your workers are hourglasses. It's representing time that you're spending doing all these things.
Yeah, because and the different things too, like once you are in a relationship with somebody, you're at the beginning, there's upkeep at the beginning of the rounds, and certain things will require an hourglass at the start of the round, specifying you're using so much time on that thing. And one of those is relationships, or raising a family,
or jobs.
Yeah, or your job. And so at the beginning of a round, you automatically kind of lose a couple, or not, you could lose hourglasses based on what things you have in front of you, because they're taking up your time. And
pretty much you're sacrificing possible extra turns in order to invest in something.
Yeah, and the things get you points, so it's not like it's a waste of a worker. You're still acquiring something from it, which is beneficial for you. But it's so good. I really, really like the Pursuit of Happiness. And there's 2 expansions that we now own, and I've enjoyed playing with both of them.
Mm.
The experience was really cool because you got to go to different, like, faraway locations, which was really neat.
All right.
Pursuit of Happiness.
So, moving on to number 4, I said we come back to it. It's Arcadia Quest.
Ah.
It's basically the more I just really want to play this game more. It's got basically, it's like everything that Chris loves in a box, It's got dice, it's got minis, it's got, I've got upgraded coins and stuff for it. So, like, in a nutshell, this game kind of replaced, like, the other CMON games that you might normally see on this list. Like Blood Rage and Rising Sun. Instead, I'd rather just play, like, if I'm given the choice on one of these, I'd rather play Arcadia Quest. Just because it's so chaotic and fun. But
That's cool.
Yeah, get some money.
yeah. I won't say too much more because Philip's already talked about it, but yeah. Arcadia Quest from CMON, number 4, or come on.
It's hard to keep track of what their name is.
My number 4 is the only Fantasy Flight game on my list, Star Wars X-Wing.
I was actually surprised. I'm surprised that this is still on your list, because I would have imagined that that the Battlestar would have kicked it off.
Well, now I got to play Battlestar more first.
Yeah, and you're saying the first edition, right? Because you have not played the second.
First edition, yes, I have not.
I had to make sure I got the right thing on the screen.
Yeah, all of my ships and cards and everything have been rendered obsolete.
I mean, you can still play with them.
I can, yes. I can play with my toys now.
Oh, well, are you ever going to play tournament?
No.
Well, not now.
No, yeah, I was going to say
Well,
not
yeah,
now.
Not now. Yeah, not now.
I mean, if you weren't planning on playing tournament, then it doesn't even matter. So.
Yeah, I mean the one tournament that I played in, it was just no, I lied. I played in 2. I played in a tournament at PAX East, and that was fun. It was just all the, I don't know. I don't even know how long the game had been out at that point when I played in that tournament.
A year and a half. Because it came out in 2012, Gen Con, and we went in 2014. So almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah. It was just, and I mean, just all those people are so much better than me.
That was a problem with, that was what ended up why I faded out of X-Wing, is just you get to the point where it's like, if you're not running this ship and that ship, you're gonna lose. And
yeah, and if you're, I mean, and there was a whole bunch of stuff of even like people would go out and they would just buy 4 or 5 of the exact same expansion ship, just to get one of the cards to use in their big meta setup. And it was like, I can't play like this, guys.
Yeah. Some of that's been fixed, I think, with second edition, especially the buying, because you don't have to buy anything outside of your faction.
I remember you talking about that.
But I haven't played it enough to know if the meta piece is still a thing, as far as like having to run. I mean, there's not a whole, because of it's in factions, there's not a whole lot of ships for each faction. So there's very limited on the ship front. I'm sure on the cards wise, there's still a bunch of stuff. But this is like your gateway miniatures game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still interested to try it.
I've heard
ships upon ships.
I've heard that the tabletop simulator version of it is actually pretty good.
Well then, I can play it then, because we got that now. So,
Number 4, X-Wing.
great pick. I think maybe I don't know. I haven't played it. My number 4 though is it's a racing game. It's Lewis and Clark.
Oh.
There is not one expedition heading for the Pacific. It is several, and this is another game. It's got you're building up your hand of cards similar to
Like
Concordia, but this one's a little heavier, and I have actually enjoyed all my player counts of this game. Most people that I hear talk about it say, I'll play with 2, maybe 3, but not more than that. And
I haven't minded it at higher player.
Yeah, when you play at a 5-player game, there's going to be downtime between turns, but it almost turns into like a poker night sort of thing. You're like chatting, like, hey, what's going on? And then it comes time for the player before you, and you start paying attention to what they're doing, because what card you play can play off of your neighbor's cards.
So wait, are you saying the best part of this game is when you're not playing the game?
No, I'm saying like if you have the downtime, you can kind of chat. But yeah, the actual nitty gritty of it is a lot of fun. Like trying to decide, okay, how many goods do I need to have? Because when you pull your cards back into your hand, you're making camp, and you figure out how slowed down you came. So like you're moving along this path, your river and mountain spaces, and when you camp, you pick up all your cards, but you see how many cards did you have left in your hand when you camped. You go back a space for each one of those cards, and how many goods did you have on your boats. If you're filling certain boats, you'll go back a certain amount of spaces. And so you're
too heavy.
Trying to get your efficiency engine. You can recruit new people to get nice abilities, and you have to use 2 cards at once. One is actually put face down. It's powering the other card like 1, 2, or 3 times.
Yeah, it tells you you use that power that many times.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of fun. It's one of the more thinky games that I really like, so I try to push it on people anyway. I say like, hey, it's a fun theme, and you're racing, and sell it.
It's a very good game. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, Lewis and Clark, number 4.
My number 4, Colin has already mentioned, and that is Unfair. So great game. I think it's one of the only CMON games we own. And it's not even really CMON. They just brought
Did you
it
get
to
rid
the
of
US.
Lorenzo?
Well, I said it's one of the
All
only
right.
CMON games we own. They just happened to bring it to the US though. But yeah, Unfair is fantastic, and I don't need to talk about it anymore because we already talked about it. So that's my number 4.
All right, time for the bronze medals.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is sad.
Why?
Just it's sad.
Because they didn't win.
Oh. Anyways, my number 3 goes to Marvel Champions, the card game. And that is because, I mean, honestly, this is, if we're going to talk about slots on my list that get filled by games, this is the FFG newest card game slot. Because if you go back either somewhere in the 4, this is the highest it's gone, but somewhere in the 4 or 5 is always like it was Keyforge last year. Then it was L5R the year before that. But like this is the game, this more so because I can play this with just about anybody. This is easy to get people into, mainly because of the theme. Also because the game is just a lot more accessible than some of those other games. And it's also like, it's a game where I can just, if I just want to play a game, I can get it out, throw out. You know, it's not like Arkham where I need to do a specific scenario and, oh, well, no one else, that this person hasn't been playing in this story with me. No, whatever. You've never played before? Cool. I'm going to shuffle together the Rhino deck. Sure, I've played it probably like 60 times at this point, but it's always different. But, you know,
that's good.
Phillips played this one too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I forget, can you play this solo?
You can, and I have played it a couple times solo.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, Marvel
Cool.
Champions. I'm hating it that they delayed their new releases because there's a new Black Widow deck that's supposed to be coming out that got delayed a month. But like apparently
I
not all
actually
those.
heard about that.
Yeah, well,
About
because
the delay?
because FFG was like no new releases until May because of all the stuff going down.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
the problem is that apparently some of the shipments already went out, especially like overseas in like Australia. So there are people like, I got my pack, and then like everyone mobs on them like, I want mine.
Oh my god.
How did you get it before the release date? So there you go. My number 3 Marvel Champions cigar game.
All right, my number 3 is a very fun game in my humble opinion. Also, pretty easy if you don't pay attention to which mini you're attacking to attack the wrong person. Starship Samurai.
Ah, yes, yeah.
That was the minis. The minis are amazing in all the intricate detail that they put on them. I was very happy with how all those sculpts looked.
It's
And
a game
then-
that screams paint me.
Oh, I mean, I would pay someone and watch them paint it. I wouldn't. I'd be too afraid of messing it up.
Did we ever figure out the like how to show ownership in that? Of those bigger minis?
Oh, you're talking
No,
about
I
I
don't
to
think
say
we
there's
did.
like certain minis that you buy that is like it's like you just gotta know that one's mine.
Well, no, that's
I
where he's
think we
talking
just
about
had to-
you.
just had to know.
That's one of those things where he's saying that you just got to figure out whose mini is which figure sometimes if you forget.
Yeah, because
Oh, I meant to hit that person.
I'm gonna attack the guy holding the sword. Ah, crap! 2 guys are holding swords. Dang it!
It's like was it Actual Law? He talked about Monopoly at one time. Is like, oh, that wasn't meant for you. I'm sorry.
But yeah, very fun game. And
Not saying it's like
diplomacy
Monopoly, it's
track
just
was
same look.
even. That was the diplomacy track was a lot of fun, just messing with the ups and downs, and having to. I would have to delete all of Chris's progress on the track before I could make any progress on the track.
Mm.
Yeah. So you got to spend time doing that, but it was still a lot of fun playing this game.
And there is an expansion. I don't know if you can
Ooh.
even get it, especially now that Plaid Hat broke away. But it came out, I think, last year or that end of 2018. It's like Shattered Alliances or something like that.
Oh.
As I hear tapping.
But number 3, yeah. Let me try to buy. All right, number 3, Starship Samurai.
All right, so my number 3 is, I think it was only on the top 10 last year. I don't think it was the year before, but it is a small game, 18 cards,
Oh.
and it's one of the few games maybe the only, I can't remember. I bought a second copy of the game, but not because I wore the game out. It's because I wore the packaging out. And it's Circle the Wagons.
You knew it.
And yeah, it's 18 cards. You're drafting between 2 players and overlaying the cards. And this game, if anyone out there has played Honshu or Hokkaido, I haven't played Hokkaido, but I know it's similar to Honshu. This blows it out of the water for me, especially for 2 players. I mean, this is a 2-player only game, but it is just so smooth, so fast. We play it when we're waiting for food at restaurants, when we can go to restaurants anyway. And I'm always in the mood to like, okay, set it up, let's go again. When it was on Kickstarter originally, I saw this game and I was like, it's the only game I've ever said, I need this. And it's been the best like $12 investment I've ever made in
24
gaming.
because we bought it twice.
Oh, 24. Yeah.
So fun fact, BGG says this has been re-implemented by X-Files Circle of Truth.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a limited thing. It's like, I think it was like through a magazine subscription or something like that. You could get the X-Files version. and there's 2 extra cards in that, like 2 roll cards, like your Mulder and Scully, I think, and they're like really slight abilities, like a one-time use thing during the
Gotcha.
game, and it's a short game, so one
Probably
time use is
the
enough,
was
I
it Game
think.
Trade Monthly?
That might have been it. I don't know. I didn't
I don't
try.
know.
I like the Western theme more than the X-Files theme, so it
Hmm.
didn't really bother me not having it.
You didn't investigate it because of that either.
But yeah, Circle of the Wagons, great quick game.
Yeah. So my number 3, this is why it's sad, Chris, because my number 3 was demoted from number 2, and it is Clank.
Oh, wow.
It is Clank. I still love it. It's still an amazing game. And now that I've played the Clank Legacy, I mean, that just, oh, it's so great. Like, I'm bumping that in with this because it's
Okay,
all,
I was gonna
you
ask,
know-
is it too much of a spoiler to?
What?
Never
Oh,
mind.
for the list.
For the list, I was gonna ask, is it too much of a spoiler to ask? Is this include Clank Legacy or?
Oh, yeah, it does include Clank Legacy, yes. I just, because they play so similarly
Right.
that it would be kind of weird to group them separately. But yeah, Clank is fantastic. Deck building, little dungeon adventuring, trying to avoid dying from the dragon eating you. I mean, that might not be what happens. I don't know what technically happens when you die in Clank, but I really, really, really like it a lot. And it's still one I want to play a lot, and it's great.
Yeah, the expansions have been numerous and have helped it a lot.
Yes, because they add interest, because that each expansion little map pack type thing adds a little something new, so it refreshes the game.
Of the actual map expansions, probably my favorite is still Sunken Treasures.
I bought this game now.
Yeah, have you played it yet?
No, not yet. I bought it.
I mean, you've played it with us, right?
Correct. I played that, and
Okay.
I played Clank in Space with y'all.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We compared them.
A local store was having a sale before everything got locked down, so I decided I would support them, and I picked it up. And then I've just been waiting. I want to teach Ashley how to play because I think it's something she might enjoy, but we just haven't had the chance. And there's other games we got Wingspan and just lots of different games that we need to play.
Yeah, if you want to refresh on the rules, you can get the Renegade app.
Oh, I did.
and-
Yep. I keep so I got a card table to put in the living room so that I could play games solo upstairs while everybody's watching TV.
That's a good play.
And then I did that the other day and played Arkham Horror, and Clank was like the other game I had up there. And I did get the app to try it out solo.
The companion app, it actually is really nice with Clank.
Nice.
I don't normally play solo because I don't like playing by myself, but I have played Clank solo before with the companion app, and I thought it was really good because it's still, I mean, obviously you're just trying to get a good score. There's no one that you're going against.
Well, that's the way
but-
most solo games are. Is you're just
And yeah, that's true. But the way the app works, and you can play it multiplayer too with the app.
Yeah.
But at certain points during the game, it like does things to you.
right. All right, ready for number 2?
Silver medal.
All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and rip this
The
Band-Aid
first
off.
loser.
My number 2 is Scythe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I know
Yeah.
what number 1 is. I know what number 1 is.
That's right. My number 1 game got bumped from all the previous years, has been bumped down. It has been dethroned. But it's still, so the problem with Scythe is almost the same problem as Mansions of Madness, where now that I have everything, it's become a behemoth, and it makes
I
it
get that.
intimidating. They have the digital version, which I have on here. They still haven't come out with it. They've done a beta for the iOS version, which I got in, but then I switched to an Android phone, and it won't let me put the beta on my iPad now. So
Oh.
that kind of sucks. I imagine that might refire it a little bit, but even then, I don't know if it'll still make it back up to number one. Just depends, because half of my love of this game is the components, and you lose that with the online aspects. But really, really great game, great artwork. But it's just one of those things where it has not gotten. I don't think I have not played the physical board game version of this since last year.
Oh
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Scythe from Stonemaier Games.
All right. My number 2, the runner-up, was actually my number 1 last year.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh.
So number 2 is Star Trek Ascendancy.
Ah, right. That was number
Ah.
one. Okay.
It,
Okay.
I can't remember
Yeah.
anything.
It's been bumped out of its spot.
I know what number 1 is.
I have no idea what number 1 is.
Sounds
I'm
exactly
gonna,
like
I'm
me.
gonna change it right now on the fly just for you.
Go for it.
But yeah, so no, it's Star Trek Ascendancy. Very fun game. Lots of you're building the map as you go. It's got diplomacy aspects. You're talking with the other players. Lots of very thematic with the so Klingons will never run from a battle. The Ferengis don't produce resources on their own. They're just constantly buying them from everyone else. Romulans don't trust anyone. So if you have a trade agreement, you have to wait a full turn cycle before you can even activate it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of just thematic elements of the game. And they've added more expansions, which I haven't picked up yet, because I'm waiting for conventions that we're hoping are still going to happen so I can go get them.
Come on, be nice to those Gale Force 9 people.
I'm trying to, man. I just got to be in the same building with them.
My man didn't like paying for shipping.
I don't.
Oh yeah.
Gotta beat
Well, I
that
mean-
$100 mark.
All right, so we're setting a trend
Well,
here.
yes.
Number 1 games have been bumped down to number 2, so
They have.
We'll see if that happened with Colin.
Okay, my
All
number
right.
2. I see. My number 2 I could say it's a tie
What's
Like,
your number
Uh,
with
Uh-oh.
number 1.
one?
It's just it fills two. They fill two different areas, but number 2 is Western Legends.
Me too. That means our 2 and 1 are probably the same. This is
So-
funny.
probably
Yeah,
the
maybe.
same.
They might be
Right?
the same.
Who knows? I don't know what his number 1 is. I know what mine
Collusion.
is.
We're
but-
two sides of the same coin. So yeah, Western Legends. It's very thematic experience for a Western loving people like us.
Is that number 3
And-
Western game?
That was you mean what's the count on my list?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
far.
I think that was
It's like
that
5.
was 4 or 5.
It's
Oh,
5.
Circle the Wagons. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is our Twilight Imperium sort
It
of game.
is,
It's our
yeah.
epic game feel.
It doesn't take nearly as long as Twilight
Yeah,
Imperium.
we finish an average about 2 hours. So it's just sandbox Western game. You're running around doing like getting cattle, playing poker, just fighting bad guys. You can go wanted, rob the train now with the expansion stuff. That's really what boosted it up was all the expansion stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes. We got that expansion and I think we played it 3 times in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like as soon as we're done, like we're like going to bed, and one of us would say, "Is it bad that I want to play that again already?"
It's such a good game. I love it so much.
And the other usually says, well, actually, it's usually Cindy saying that, and I say, "No, I was kind of thinking the same thing."
Mhm.
So yeah, Western Legends is great game.
It's so good.
Well, since you guys,
So good.
so unless you got something else to say, why don't you just go ahead and snake around on this last one since since we all
Since our
know what
number 1's the same
Yeah.
too.
It might be.
and you guys go
Let's
ahead.
See.
All right.
Let's say at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Fart.
Carson. What?
Yeah, Carson,
Carson
City. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about something else for a second there.
Oh my gosh.
Something I was trying to not happen.
I think Carson City's been both of our number one for several years now.
I think it's the
At
entire
least
time
3
we've done
years.
this list.
Yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
And
Maybe.
like I said, it fills a different area of the Western experience. It's the more heavy economic Euro type game, and it still feels thematic
Oh
with
yeah,
with
definitely.
Western tropes, but it's just it fills a different area, and it's another one like you're saying, it can be a bit of a behemoth. And now that we've gotten the insert for it, it's almost working against us. It stores everything nice, but it makes it
Setup
more of
is
a
harder.
pain to get out because it's the Meeple Realty insert.
Uh-huh. I mean, it's beautiful, but yes, it's harder to set up, I think.
I totally
Yeah, Carson
understand
City.
that, having put together a Meeple Realty insert. Sandy, any other remarks on Carson City?
It's a fantastic worker placement game, and I just love it so very much. And we've definitely played it more than any other. Well, no, we've definitely played it more than any other game of its size, weight ish category.
Time investment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
weight.
Like, I mean, I say that, but like, I say, oh, we've played it the most, but no, we've played Codenames in the Mind more than Carson City. But that's because those are easy, quick games to play.
Those are
but,
potato chip games.
potato chip games. But it's just such a good game. Like, that's another one that I will play whenever anybody wants to play it, and I will suggest it frequently. And it's so good. Such a great worker placement game. And like Colin said, it feels Western in a Euro game.
All right. Is Chris back from the toilet yet?
Nope. All right, Philip, you go next. I'll be last.
right.
I'll snake this around.
All right. My number one game. The moment we've all been waiting for. The gold medalist. The one that's won. Bargain Quest Online.
Power Rangers.
It's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was about to say, you don't need to hold it out. It's already been on the screen.
Well, then I should have said Bargain Quest just to mess with you. Yes.
I thought you were going to say Munchkin Conan.
This is the not the first Kickstarter game I've backed, but this is the first Kickstarter where the moment it has launched, I've gone all in on every aspect of all the Kickstarters they've had for this game. And they've announced another Kickstarter that's going to be launching soon.
Which one is that one?
So
Turbo?
No. This is Rise of the Psycho Rangers from In Space.
Oh, right.
We
The
know where
Evil
your
Rangers.
stimulus money's going.
Yeah. So we've got just the amount of stuff they've included in this game. So they took you've got your original Mighty Morphin series with the Green Ranger and the White Ranger. You've got a whole bunch of extra villains. Then they went and added the entire team of Hyperforce, which was the RPG that was streamed, which had the guy who played Bulk as one of the Rangers. Then they added in some stuff from the Boom comic series, Shattered Grid, and just all the different enemy troops, and Lord Drakon, who is an evil Tommy who's been stealing all the other Tommy's powers and the other Rangers' powers, and then just everything they're incorporating in it. And now one of the things, so like I'm part of the Facebook group, and the thing that always gets me is people are constantly asking, when are we going to get this team? When are we going to guys, there is 27 years.
And counting.
And counting.
We've had like two
Power
series
Rangers
since
history.
we've had two new series since the thing started.
Yes, like there's 27 years of content. It's gonna get in there. You just have to wait. I understand we're gamers and we can't wait. We want it now, but whoo, it's getting exciting, guys. I'm just saying.
Well, basically, what Philip's describing is the problem I was having with with Scythe and Mansions of Madness. Philip had this where it became a behemoth and made it hard to get to the table the day it came in the mail. Which is why I haven't played the game yet. I want to try this game because I like Power Rangers too, but it was like we set everything out
when
and
we
just
made
like
when we made the unboxing video, we took over all 4 tables in that room.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see that on the YouTube channel if you just search for that. But yeah, and then when actually Philip was like, "All right, let's learn to play." Oh crap! None of this stuff is organized, and I don't know where all the things are.
Yep.
And there's also some errata I forgot to print out.
Yeah. Still trying to find that.
All right, my turn.
But it's super fun. Yes, go ahead, sir. What is the winner?
This is not going to shock anybody, but the new number 1 for me, it's Arkham Horror, the card game.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yep. It's been on my list for a long time, so it's not like it's dramatically shot up. But it's the only difference is I've actually been really getting into this game, and it's just so much fun. And there's twists and turns, and every time you think you've understand the game, they find a new way to throw the mechanics at you and be like, "Haha, think fast." Like, the basic premise of the game is you need to try and keep the doom from ticking up before you manage to get all the objectives done in the act deck. That's the thing. Well, we just played a scenario on Tabletop Simulator where in one of the campaigns you actually want Doom to advance as fast as possible, and it turns like the whole game on its head, because like cards will spawn that it's just like, no, we need to figure out how to get Doom faster on there, not like pull it off. So yeah, and there's just so many. It's awesome. Like, my stimulus money is going to go to getting the campaigns that I haven't gotten. There's like 2 full campaigns I don't have yet. So it'll be getting that piece, getting all that stuff. And I mean,
I forget. Do you replay scenarios ever?
I have not. Well, I have played the core box a couple of times. And I have replayed Path to Carcosa the first 2 or 3 scenarios about 2 or 3 times because I'd never gotten a consistent group together. So I have played a lot of the scenarios over again. And they've even got the new Return to series where you return to the previous campaigns and they add like new twists or new enemies.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. I've not done that yet. I have the one for the core box, the Return to pack for the core box, but I haven't sat down and tried that again because I've always been teaching it to new people and never want to throw the return stuff in with new people.
But now you got you had your normal group.
Right. So eventually, maybe at some point, if I don't run them off from ever playing it again, but they all seem to enjoy it as much as I do. So, but between this and I knew both of these games, between this and Marvel Champions, I knew they were going to be in the top parts of my list because these 2 games, more than any other game, just maintain headspace in my brain. I'm like thinking about them all the time.
I get that.
You know, like I'm either like I'm in both of the, Philip's talking about like Facebook groups. I'm in Facebook groups for a lot of them. So I'm reading posts and questions and look at this cool custom content that I made for it, or, cool new artwork or cool tokens, or, like I did that huge post where I made custom cases for them. So they just,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think about these games a lot, so that's why it was
such a weird. Go ahead.
That's why when it came down to it, and I was sitting there, I was like, "No, this is my new favorite game."
Mm-hmm. It's such a weird concept to me, having a Facebook group specifically for a game. I mean, I'm sure obviously they exist because Philip's in one. You just said you were in one.
Yeah, there's one for Suburbia now.
There's one for some what?
There's
But
one.
Why?
There's one probably for every game.
That's so weird to me.
Like there's Gloomhaven ones that I joined just to see kind of if I was issues I was having, if other people were having them too. Well, because a lot of times, that's people can ask rules questions.
yeah,
B,
people that don't want to use BGG.
right. Well, a lot more people use Facebook than BGG. So,
True.
like, someone may never hear about, BGG, but they know what Gloomhaven is because they were, they walked into a store and they had it.
Right. That's
So they
true.
just search Gloomhaven and the thing pops up. But like, yeah, you've got people asking rule questions or people coming up with new rules. Like, hey, has anybody tried this with using this instead? Like,
Oh yeah.
would things change if you did X and Y? Now, I mean, for Arkham and Power Rangers and Marvel, they all have the benefit of their ongoing games where there's still always
Right,
more
right.
content. So people are always talking about like, ooh, this new piece of news got dropped in, or ooh, this is now on the boat, or ooh, we just got this new teaser artwork thing. So you've got that, but even still, there's just it's just a bunch of people just always talking about stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
So, so Colin, I know you prepared a game show for us, but it's already been pretty late. Do we want to just bag
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah. So before we head out of here, I will say thank you to all of our patrons. We did have a slight dip in content, but that's just we're adapting to our new norm here. We'll hopefully build things back up. I haven't been blogging in a while, but I'm working to getting that back up. But the problem being is like what to blog about because everybody's doing the like, here's the best games to play on Tabletop Simulator. I don't want to do that. Like everybody's doing that. There's plenty of good people. I could do a blog post of blog posts talking about the best games.
Well, then you should flip it on its head, Chris. Here are the worst games to play on Tabletop Simulator.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Top 10 games to hit the flip the table button on.
Yeah.
Oh
Or just
my
top 10 sources to find the best games to play on Tabletop Simulator and just rate other people's stuff. But
Oh, there you go.
if you're curious what the rest of our lists are, then you're going to have to go like Jessica and back us on Patreon because that's where we're going to be at some point. I mean, we've got a bunch of free time now. We're going to sit down and record the other 11 through 48 or 50, depending on who's talking,
yeah.
and get the rest of the list going. And that is going to be a Patreon exclusive. We'll break those up into a couple of different ones so we don't bore people by the end of it. But yeah, you're only going to get that on there. Also, I just announced this week, I finally announced the big project that I've been working on. It is Tangled in the Slipstring. It is going to be a new RPG that we'll be using for our group play if we hit the $50 a month level. And this is the other thing I've been working on now that we've got more time around. I'm so excited about this, guys. It's so great.
I'm pretty excited too. And now that you revealed it was kind of Firefly-esque.
Well, yeah, that was the idea. The idea is just it's Firefly but with anthropomorphic cats.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and that is what I sold it to when I was like, there was a person I really wanted to work with doing some sort of fiction work because he has amazing writing skills. And so I been on the show before, Calvin Wong, and I was like, look, I've got an idea for an RPG. It's Firefly, but with cats. And he's like, I'm in. And
That's so
literally, I went to bed. He's 12 hours, ahead of us. I went to bed. By the time I woke up, he had a synopsis, or he sent me a piece of fiction that he wrote just to kind of get the scope together. And I was like, you could not have nailed what was in my brain any harder, but then like I couldn't have explained it to you any better. It was just so in sync, like his vision and mine, as far as
That's
the
fantastic.
kind of tone. I'll read it, but probably in another episode when we're not But and just even then, he's been writing some fiction stuff. I've been writing some fiction stuff. We're kind of collaborating and building this world together. Like, what about this? And what about this? And it's so much fun. And he is great at developing a world. And then I'm going to kind of take that sandbox and kind of run with it. In this new, it's not a completely new series because I'm taking the Blades in the Dark mechanics, but I think it's going to mesh pretty well. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So
Great.
Yeah,
I'm
really
excited
excited.
for it.
Patreon.com/boards and swords is where you're going to want to go to help support that. We're still working on it, even though we haven't hit that level yet. But that's because I wanted to, as soon as we hit that $50, I wanted to be able to like, okay, let's go. You know, like I didn't want to be, okay, now I can start working on. No, I wanted to have it ready in the chamber, ready to fire, so that as soon as we hit that mark, we
Good
can just go.
idea.
So,
Yeah, good idea.
and with that, I think it is. I think that's it. I don't have my show notes up, so I'm going to do this off the best I can. Thank you all for listening to this show. Remember, go to boardsandswords.com/live. We've got a new revamped version of the website I love it. It helped optimize and speed up things a little bit. But if you want to go see, we got our streaming schedule there, boardsandswords.com. You can go /live and see the schedule there. We record every other Wednesday. And if that changes, there's a schedule on there to let you know. Anyways.
That's been our show for tonight. And if you love this show, you gotta check out our other podcast. We do a live play of some of the world's greatest RPGs, and we completely mess them up. And all for your entertainment. And we like to call that the Dirtbags of Holding.
Well, if you like this show, you can email us your comments and questions at feedback@boardsandswords.com. You can follow us on Instagram at boardsandswordspod or on Facebook at facebook.com/boardsandswordspod. And you should also follow our individual accounts. I'm Cindy Pastorius on Twitter and Instagram.
I am Colecake196 on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, right,
You can
that's
find
me.
me on Twitter as Phil the Dirtbag.
And I'm on Facebook, or I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Zapoff.
We are also a part of the Dice Tower Network. It's a network of board game related podcasts that you can check out by going to dicetowernetwork.com and sample some other stuff that's out there, board game related. And the network is supported a lot by CoolStuffInc.com. You can go to CoolStuffInc.com and check out all their awesome gaming deals. They've got deals weekly, daily, and some other time frames too. Like they have holiday sales too. I just go check it out. CoolStuffInc.com.
All right, lastly, once again, thank you, however you've been listening to this podcast. But keep in mind, some of the other stuff, like Phil talked about, the Dirtbags of Holding, we're working on bringing that back. Oh, I've never gone past the music. This is a first. Anyways, until next time, remember that every gamer has a story. And this one is my entire top 10 list was an April Fool's joke. Or was it?
Oh my god.
Bwah, 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 bwah.
Good night, everybody.
Night night.